Hi, welcome to Code and Play. Today, what I'm going to show you is very interesting. So, in the last video, we talked about loading scenes from text file, right? So, if you see here, we have this scene loader. In this, we have this scene loader class that loads the scene. So in the last video I showed you how to load scenes from text files. So what does it mean? It means like this: you have a text file where you have some scenes, you have some interactions, you have some narrations and all that. Okay, so these are the narrations, and in this narration, in this file, if you see, there are tags, right? There are tags like these. So using a map in Java, I map these tags with the actual names like these, right? So whenever I'm loading the actual game, whenever I'm playing the game will show me these names instead of these tags. So this is what I did last time, and I showed you how it loads. So let me show you that again. If I load this main file, yeah, you see, so you have scenes like this, you have narration in the front, and then you have a interaction. So in the interaction there is a tag here which is now replaced with a name. Now this is fine, this is good, but the problem here is if you want to write the scenes in this way, there will be a problem. The problem is you have to remember all these tags. Not only that, you also have to understand that these scenes are linear. There are no choices. You see that there are no choices here. This is just linear scene, just a simple from and to. That's all. There is no choices in the between. For example, there is a scene where you have to offer 50 gold coins to pass the card, right? The guard is asking you or demanding you 50 gold coins. There is no choice for this. You only have to give the card. I mean, you must give the coins and move on. There is no other way. There is no other choice for this. What if you want to add a choice? Well, that is the problem here. There are no ways to add choices in this case. In this type of narration, you have a simple linear scene which have these tags, and these tags will be later on replaced with actual names. So the names will be showing in the output in the game actually. So this is there are some limitations with this concept, right? And not only that, if you observe here, I am writing everything like this: scene 1, scene 2, right? So what is the problem here? If you want to use the code in this way, or if you want to like use the scene in this way, then what is the problem? The problem is not visible here because it is a simple project, but when you go into actual game, there will be a big problem for you. Let me show you that. Let's say I mean, first of all, you have to see then these are actually tags for the NPCs, right? So what are these? These are NPC interactions. So in big games, when you have NPC interactions, for example, you have an NPC called bank, a banker NPC, a shopkeeper NPC, a blacksmith NPC, and as well as a mayor NPC, a mayor of the town, right? So if you have these types of NPCs, you must write individual NPC interactions. That means like this: banker.txt, shopkeeper.txt, blacksmith.txt, mayor.txt. And don't forget, this is just for one town. If you see here, I have written for one town. This is RW NPC1. RW in the sense this is a short form for Rosewood. So Rosewood NPC1. What if I go into another city or town or kingdom? What if I change region? What if I change map? In that case, I have to write another file for this. Also, there will be multiple NPCs who are saying the same thing. So in that case, you will be having multiple duplicates, a duplicate of files. So just to like showing the scenes, this is good, but this is not sustainable in the long run, as you can see. So what is the best way then? If not this, then what? Well, the best way is to use JSON. Why? What is the use of JSON? Why can't I just use like this? Why can't I just use .txt files like this and write the code? Well, the thing is, as I said, there are no choices in this case. You have to write in a linear fashion. If you want to accept or remove the chest, for example, there is a quest where you have to accept the quest or decline the quest. In that case, you can't do that. Understand, you can't accept or reject or decline. So you must accept the quest if you're writing this way, because it's a linear. There is no way to decline the quest. You have to accept it. You must do it. That's how it is, right? So if you want to accept, if you want to add some choices, for example, there is a scene where you are supporting one side of the conflict while the other side is getting angrier about you. So if you choose the other side, the first side will be angry about you. So in this case, you have to choose choices. You must have choices to choose a side in the conflict. So in that case, you can't do this, right? You can't do those kind of things using text files. This way, using this way, there is a way, but it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of resources, a lot of time, and it is kind of negligible, kind of useless kind of way. It's not useless, it is like waste of your resources, right? So how do we utilize the resources, or how do we utilize the time properly in writing quests or choices or scenes where you have multiple choices in that case? So in that way, we are going to use JSON. So when you want to have JSON, you don't need to use text files anymore. You just use JSON format. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to group all of these into one single array. I'll just say like this. Instead of banker, shopkeeper, blacksmith, and mayor, I will write like this. I'll say NPCs. Okay, this is an array. Now in this array, you can have multiple objects. So in this array, I can have a banker. This is a string actually, right? And or you can say name, banker, and dialogues. Dialogues could be another choices. Like for example, you have a list of dialogues or list of choices. For example, you don't have dialogues, you have choices, right? So this is another list or another array, right? So you can have a format in this way. You can have a format in this way. And one more thing, if you want to write, for example, choices, right? Let's say you wrote like this. This is a quest choice. So the quest ID, there shouldn't be no spaces. If you want to give space in JSON, you must use underscore, because these are stored as a key, as an ID. It's called a key and value pair. So you must have a key that does not have any spaces. If you want to give space, you must use underscores. It's a format. Okay. So quest ID, I'm saying 1, and I have something else here, right? This is one quest. Then I have another quest here. For example, this is quest underscore ID 2. So for example, in this case, if you want to continue this quest and 2 is the next quest, like chain quest in the sense you completed the first part, now the second part is number 2. In that case, you just have to give a code here, next in line, right? Or it's a key. It's actually like a key where you link up multiple quests in a chain format. So next in line is 2. So now whenever the code reads like this, whenever the code sees this next in line, if next in line. If next in line means if there is a next part for the quest, that part will be loaded. Which part is that? It's quest ID 2. So that there is a second part for that. Okay, if you say like there are choices in the second part, there are choices, so you can also give choices for this, right? So there are lots of ways you can write a JSON and you can use the JSON. This is why we are mostly using JSONs for maintaining like huge quest details or huge files. Instead of writing everything in a in a text file, we write everything in a JSON format. So this is also easy to transfer if you are using online servers and everything. So in that case, it is also easy to transfer data from one part of the system to another part of the system. It's easy to transfer because all of this format is saved as a string. So by just using some string functions, like last time I showed you, by just using some string functions, you can easily read this entire JSON format, right? Now, if I want to do the code in this way, then it will be little bit different. The code won't be like this. You don't have to use like path holders and everything like that. We don't have to use all of this tags and everything, because everything will be in key and value. Just read the key and you get the value. So instead of storing the keys separately in the code, you have the key directly in the JSON file. Just read the key and get the value. Easy, right? So if I want to use in this way, then I have to use a different kind of way, different kind of code. So today, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you a very interesting format. This one, I used a ChatGPT to create some files for me, some JSON files for me. I will show you the result in a few minutes. But the thing is, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to load multiple interactions or multiple dialogues for one NPC. For example, let's say you have a shopkeeper, okay, like a blacksmith or an armor smith, or maybe a banker, maybe a healer, maybe an apothecary, maybe like any other NPC that is giving you a quest or something like that. So these kind of things you are writing in JSON, you can write in this way. So first you can say NPC name, that is shopkeep or banker or anything, okay, and then you have dialogues. So dialogues are not just one dialogue, there are multiple dialogues. So how do we write this in JSON? We write this in this way: shopkeep and dialogues, right? So in these dialogues, you will have multiple dialogues here. So this could be anything like this. Yeah, this is an array. Array holds everything. You can have an object, or you can also have a normal number or a string. So I'm just holding strings here. The dialogues are like this: hello adventurer. Okay, remember this. Whatever the list you are using here, the same thing you must also use in the program, so that there won't be any confusions. Understand? So if this is the first dialogue, second dialogue is nice day to buy something good, right? So these are two dialogues in this, and third dialogue is also there. Let's say have a nice day. This is a closing NPC. Whenever you are finished, whenever you are closing the NPC, when you say exit, this dialogue will pop up. So you can do in this way also. For example, we have a JSON like this. So we have an NPC name shopkeep and dialogues are like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this file and I am going to load this one first or this one randomly. Now I have two dialogues to load randomly. I can either load this or this. How do I do that? just list. This is an array list in Java, easy. So this is an array list, and this is a you can say it's a like key for the array list. So the shopkeep dialogues, like that. Okay, so how do we do that? Basically what we do is we create a class. Also called as POJO class, plain old Java object class. Plain old Java object class, also called as POJO class. Okay, so what does it do? It simply is a placeholder. You can say it's like a class like this. Class dialogues. Okay, what's dialogues? Let's say, or dialogue. Okay, dialogue. So the first one is a string name, the shop NPC name, shopkeep, banker, whatever it is. That is the name. Second one is a list string. So since this is a array list, we can just define this right now, or you can also define this later on. Okay, dialogue. That's it. Now read this file and load this NPC name into the name and these dialogues into the list. And in your game, you can simply just say dialogue and you get all the dialogues. Easy. So this is called POJO class. It's a placeholder class. Okay, you can either use Jackson or Gson. In this case, I'm using Gson library for JSON library. Gson basically stands for Google JSON library. It's by Google. If you don't want to use this Gson, you can also use Jackson from Apache. Okay. Jackson is more useful in web servers or web services kind of thing because it's a huge package, and JSON is a lightweight concept, little bit easier to use. And if you want even more lightweight, you can also go for org.json. Anything is fine. I'm just showing you different libraries, nothing else. I have used org.json in the previous examples. This one I'm using Gson just to show you the differences. Now in this Gson library, what I'm going to say is, first of all, I'm going to create a Gson object called Gson obj. Gson obj. This is a Gson object. New Gson. So this way the Gson will be created. And now I'm going to do like this. Dialog, D-I-A-L-O-G-U-E. Dialog. This is a dialog D. This is an object. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to say Gson obj dot from JSON. Okay, since I'm loading JSON file here, so this is a JSON file. This is saved as .json, so it's directly a JSON file. So I'll simply say from JSON. What from JSON? First of all, I have to load this file. I have to load this file. So how do I load this file? As I said, it is a string. You are loading the entire file as a string. So before this, I'll simply just load the string entirely. Str equal to load file. It's just a buffer reader class. Just to read the file. That's it. Convert the file into a string and it will give a string directly. So you will say some path here, whatever the path .json. Okay. So this is the load file. Now in this case, from JSON, string, load the string in which format? In dialog format. Dot class. This is the loading of JSON using Gson. Okay, so by using Gson, you can load the files in this way. So first you load the file as a string, then you use this POJO class as a placeholder for the entire JSON, this one, for the entire JSON, and then simply just pass it as an object. Easy. Simply just pass it as an object and it will just directly load the object into your file. So this is our JSON loading using POJO class. Now, there is also another way. There is also another method. You can also use a method called type token. It's a class actually, type token. This is a very interesting concept. I have to explain collections and generics and all this. So let me explain more about the type token later on. First of all, we'll discuss about this part. Okay, we will see how it loads using a POJO class. This is a plain old Java class. It's the oldest way to load JSON. But if you are not familiar with this, you can also see my other videos. I have made many videos using JSON. Mostly I always use JSON, and I also advocate everybody to use JSON because JSON is much more useful in real world. You are not just using it for game design, you're also using this for websites, for app development, for everywhere. So JSON is mostly used even when you are loading APIs like for example Paytm, or let's say you are loading a mail server like Gmail or something like that. So in that case also the APIs also will give you JSON itself. So you have to understand how to use JSONs. Okay, you must work with JSONs. That's why I'm showing this concept more and more. Now, let's focus on this one first, then I'll show you type token. Type token is very interesting. It's a very, you can say, technical concept. So let me explain that very clearly later on. First of all, we'll see this. Okay. So let's start with the fresh Java project. And yes, you can also download the same way. You can also download JSON from the same way. Last time I showed you MVN repositories. So just type MVN repositories in Google and MVN repositories space JSON. Search this way. So you have to search like this: MVN repositories space JSON. Repository or repository, anything is fine. Space JSON. So as soon as you do this, you will be seeing some MVN links, Maven links. Okay, you go to the website, you download whichever format you want: JSON, org.json, Gson, anything. Okay, you can use any binding. It doesn't matter. Now, this one. First of all, we have a file here. Let's say this is dialog loader. Okay, this is not just for dialogues, this is for everything, but I'm just showing you how to load it. So just to have a clear understanding, I'm going to show you how to load these choices as well, but this is much more technical. So let me show you this first so that you understand how it is handled first, then I'll go into the technical part. Okay, so dialog loader, we don't need this. Module.json is just a kind of like if you're familiar with JetBrains or NetBeans, there is a file called info.info file. It's basically like a repository file. You don't need it mostly. You can just delete it, doesn't matter. When you are creating a file, it will be ticked automatically. You have to just tick it off. For example, here there is a tick here, module. You see, create module info.json Java, create info module.java, just tick it off, nothing else. It is by default ticked on, just tick it off. Okay, I forgot to do it, so if you forget to do it as well, just delete the file. We don't need the file. Now right click on src, new class. Let's create a first create a package. Always try to organize your projects as much as possible. It is best to use packages. Sometimes most people do is they directly create a class and directly execute the program. It creates a default package, but it is not good. It is not recommended. Always create a package. Okay, and you can use the package. You can name the package anything. You can name the package like my piece package, like this. Anything. It doesn't matter. Always create packages. Okay, and for a professional approach, you have to use the com dot company name dot something like a project name. Let's say this is a game project, like this. Okay, since I don't have a company, I'm using my own name, suman.game, and here the class file, main class 1. Right, now main method is here, new main class, or simply just print system.println hello world, print hello world. Let's see, it prints. Yeah, it's printing. So now we load our JSON. How do you load JSON? First of all, you create a source file, resource folder. So you create source folder, right click on src, new source folder. You go here, create something like res or pack, something like that. Just give a name. Okay, I'm giving a resource name because it's a resource folder, so res. Or you can also give resource full name, doesn't matter, anything is fine. Okay, so this is our source folder. In this source folder, I'm going to create a file, not text file, is file. Okay, untitled text file is by default .txt. We don't need .txt, we need .json. So we go to the file, go to file. Now select this res and create something. Create the file name. Let's say dialogues. Dialogues, dialogues, dialogues.json. This is a JSON file. Create, JSON file is ready. Now I already know how to use JSONs, so I'm going to use this. But if you want to validate this, you have JSON validators. Go to Google and type JSON validator. Okay, you will see some links. You can go there and paste this and validate this. If there are any problems in this code, you will see it. I don't have the internet right now, the internet is off, so I'm just going to copy and paste this file. So this is our JSON. Most of the times JSON file starts with this and ends with this. Okay, starting and ending. If there is some problem, there will be always the problems with these brackets, this bracket or this bracket. Those are the main problems in JSON files. So it is best to create validators. It's best to use validators. Go to Google and type this and you will see a validator link. You can go there and paste this file, or you can also create your own JSON files there. Okay, so now we have this JSON file. Now npc name, shopkeep, dialogues are these. This is a simple JSON file. Now let's load the Gson plugin. So where do I have Gson plugin? Gson plugin I already downloaded here. I already got it. So first of all, right click on the dialog loader project name, go down, go to properties. Okay, Java build path, select this. In the libraries tab, go to the class path and add external jar. Okay, here I have org.json and Gson. This is a little bit old file. You can also get the latest version. If there is latest version, latest update, you can get that. Okay, so once you get that, select that file, click open. Now the class path has this file. Okay, now you click apply and close, and in the referenced libraries you will have Gson package. Done. So we have the Gson linked into our program. If this is working, then we should check. How do we check? We just type Gson control space. Control space basically opens the IntelliSense. If the Gson plugin is not linked properly, you won't see this plugin. You won't see this IntelliSense. There will be errors. So right now it is working, so it is no errors. You see the IntelliSense. Click enter and you have the package imported. Now importing is fine. Is it working? Let's see. Obj equal to new Gson, right? Let's add something. Okay, Gson has a problem. You have to create and execute the files using classes like POJO classes. You can't directly create a file. I mean, you can't directly add something into Gson. You have to create a class and then add the class into a Gson. To show that, I'm going to show you a simple example. First of all, I'm going to create a class. This is a demo class. This is just to show you how JSON works. Okay, this is a demo class. Here I have a string name and int, let's say ID. Okay, string name, int ID. This is a class. Now, what does okay, let's save this. Save this. Okay, so here what do we do is I'm going to create an object here, obj1 or d1 equal to new demo, right? d1.name equal to, I'm giving my name, and d1.id equal to 1. Now what we do is obj basically is JSON object, to JSON object d1, right? So this is our JSON file. Now how do we do that? How do we see that? Let's see in a string format, because to_JSON actually gives out string, so you will get a string format. If you print the string format, you should see a JSON. Let's see, SYSOUT str. So now if I print this string, I should see a string format. I should see a JSON of this class. Let's see. Yeah, it is working. You can see it's a JSON of the class. This is how JSON works. You understood? So first of all, you import the library. Then you define the object, whatever object you want to present as a JSON. You define the object, define the values and everything, and then you convert the object into a JSON, which will give out a string format. You can use this string format or string to you can use that string and send it to back to server or to any other device. Let's say you are using a peer-to-peer model. That means one client to another client. Like in WhatsApp, you're talking from one WhatsApp client to another WhatsApp client. In that case, you are just sending strings in between, which are encrypted, right? So you can do all of this using JSON. So JSON works like this. First of all, you define the library, object, you define the class, and you execute the code like this. This is object to JSON. Same thing reverse. What if I want to convert the object d1? What if I want to convert this JSON string into an object? So the same thing, we do the same thing. Demo d2 equal to obj dot from, this time from, because we already have a JSON here. Now I have to convert that JSON into an object. So from JSON, okay, from JSON, what you want? The str, the JSON file, and which format you want? The format is demo.class. This is the format I want. This is how you convert a JSON string into an object. Okay, you converted an object into a JSON, and you are converting a JSON back to an object. Now if I simply just print d2.name, I will see Suman, and if I print d2.id, I will see 1. I should see 1. So let's just print a space in the middle so that you understand there is a difference. So this one is the JSON printing here, and this one is the object printing here. So let me show you how it works. There, you see. So the first one is the object to JSON. The second one is the JSON to object. This is how Gson works. Okay, to JSON convert an object to JSON. From JSON convert a JSON to object. So this is our Gson file, Gson format. Understand? So let's keep this in mind, and we'll use the same format to create a class to read these dialogues. So since we already have a JSON file, we simply convert the JSON file into an object. Let's do that. Let's save this package and create another one. Right click on src, new class. This is main class 2, and this is another package, game2. Now if I click finish, there is another package here. The first one is just to show you how JSON works, how Gson works. The second one is what I'm going to do now. What I'm going to do, first of all, main method. Now we print this just to see if it works. Anything broken or nothing? Everything working fine? Everything working fine. So if anything breaks, there will be errors. So you have to check it always. Now, since Gson is working and we already have a JSON file here, right? So let's create a class like I created here. I created demo class. So the same way, I'm also going to create a dialog class which will have these methods. Okay, let's create a class here. So in this package, I'm going to create dialog class. Class dialog. So dialog is by default predefined. So you shouldn't use that. Okay, dialog is a AWT package. So it's from AWT. We should not use this name. So I'm using UE extra so that it's a different name. Or you can also use another name. You can also say, instead of dialogues, you can say interactions. It's also fine. Okay. Now, in this dialog, always remember this. You should not count these things. Okay. They are like object names, or you can say data members. They are like data members. So in this case, you should always consider these. What I'm saying is, when you are naming the variables here, always name the variables as these. The variables should be these. The value in the variable is this. Let me show you. Dialog string. What is the key here? First key is npc name. So let me just copy and paste it here. So what is the value for the npc name? The value is shopkeep. That's how it is going to execute. Understand? So always think about these things. These are the variable names and these are the values for the variable names. Okay. So the string npc name will have the value of shopkeep. If you have another object, let's say you have another object here, the same npc name. This is banker. Okay, and we have dialogues d small. Dialogues. You can also just copy and paste it. It's fine. And you have some dialogues here, right? So now, since it is a group, you can't use like this. You must always enclose them in a array like this. Okay, this is why you should use validator, JSON validator. It will show you the proper way to format a JSON. Right now, to actually represent a JSON file, you must always start and execute with this. Start with these and end with this. That's it. So this is how you navigate the files. Or you can also give a key here, like npcs, like this. right? It's up to you. You can design the JSON file in whatever way you want. Okay, there is no specific rule like you must use these names, you must use these titles. No, we don't need to. You can write the JSON file in any way, but writing a JSON file is completely different from using it. So don't waste your time in writing these files here. Use a validator, or you can also use AI. You can use a chat GPT or Claude or anything else. Okay, Gemini AI, anything. Just give them your scenario and tell it to write a JSON file for it, and it will write the JSON file. It's simple. Okay, nothing complicated. Just keep it simple. First of all, you try learn how to use JSON, how to use this format. What is the array? What does array have? How do we represent this format in the program? First learn that, then you can go into multiple different things. Okay, so just to keep it simple, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove all of this extra lines, just to keep it simple. And you also have to be very mindful of the spaces. It's like Python. In Python, if there is an extra indentation, it counts as a function. So the same thing here in JSON. If there is an extra indentation somewhere, it counts as an object. So please try to use validators as much as possible. Okay. So this is our simple function. So as I said, if you are using multiple objects, you also have to use lists and multiple classes like that. But that will be later on, next time. So let's save this. And here, as I said, these are the variable names and these are the values for the variable names. So this one is a simple string. So we just said string NPC name. The second one is an array. So what do we do is we give a list of strings. Okay. In this we say dialogues. This is our list of strings. Okay. Now you can use this format and load this file. Use this format, load this file into our program here. So what I'll do, first I will say Gson, import the package, Gson lib, just to make it clear what we are doing here. I'm not going to use obj more and more because now you understand the concept. I'm just going to show you the professional way of using it. Try to use professional names because you are not the only one who is writing the project. There will be a team, and if they don't know what you're doing, then it will be a problem. So try to use these names. Okay, names like this, JSON lib or JSON object, JSON object, like that. Try to use names like that. Now new JSON. Okay, this is our JSON import. The next one, just go here and see. So this is our JSON import. The next one is this class. Why I gave this class? So that I can convert it into a JSON file. But since we already have a JSON file, we don't need to use this part. We directly go to this part. So what do? We go here and we'll say dialogues, dialogue, d equal to JSON lib dot from JSON. Okay, from JSON. Here we have to import the string. That means read the file and import the string. So I'll just give str for now. There is no str, but I'm just going to give it in a few minutes. The type of the file is dialogue dot class. Okay. Now you have the entire JSON converted into a object. Now I'll simply say for f small for, okay, or first of all I'll say like this, npc plus d dot npc name, whatever the npc is you are talking to, that is the npc name. And then I'll say for no, not for. Let's first of all check if the NPC doesn't have any dialogues. So first of all, we'll say d dot dialogues dot is empty. It's a list function. List function is empty not, which means not empty, right? This is a simple check. If it is not empty, then load it. So what do? We simply say, since it's a string, so I'm saying string s colon d dot dialogues. You are loading each and every dialogue. Or if you want to load a specific dialogue, you can also give a random number. Random r equal to new random of 0, 1. Okay, there is a problem. New random. Okay. Random generator. Okay, let's see. New random. Or I think we can also try using scanner class, isn't it? Random generator. Yeah, math.random. This is also a function. Math.random is also a function. Double. Yeah, it gives double. We can also try using, yeah, math.random is fine. This is the formula is this. Into maximum. The maximum here is 1 plus minimum. Minimum here is 0. So this will give out a number. I'm going to convert this into an int. I'm going to say int random equal to, or r equal to this, between 0 and 1. Okay. Simply just load this and say d dot dialogues dot get r. So it will just randomly load either 0 or 1. 0 or 1. As I said, there are two dialogues here. I said hello adventurer or a nice day to buy something good. So either this dialogue or this dialogue randomly. Okay. And when you are closing, you can also give a function like close or exit. Okay, when you are exiting, you can also load this dialogue. Easy, right? To get the last one, we simply say d dot dialogues dot last index, or we can say get last. Okay, so it will get the last index automatically. Now the part is ready, but this string needs to be loaded. So where is the string loading here? The string is loading from here. Str equal to load file. Which file am I loading? I'm loading from res/dialogues.json. This is the file I'm loading. So this load file must be a function. So since I'm doing everything in main function, I must go out of this function and place this entire code into main class 2 constructor, so that I can directly call it from here. New main class 2. Okay, and just to keep it easy to read, I'm just putting it at the bottom so that it's easy to read. Now we have the class file. Now let's load the file. Private load file. This gives a string, because we are returning a string from here, right? So the path is string path. So what am I going to do? I'm going to send the string from here. First of all, we'll say string builder, okay, s equal to, or file, or we can say dialogues equal to anything. It's just a name, nothing else. Str dialogues equal to new string builder, right? Return str dialogs. As I said, try to use names like these. And this is showing error because it is not giving out string. String builder usually gives a huge line, or you can say array. So to convert this into a string, we have to say dot to string. Now it will convert the entire array of string into a single string format. Single string. So this single string is what we are returning from here, which will go into the JSON function, and it will convert into an object, which we are going to load here. So let's see. How do we load this? Well, buffer reader. Good old buffer reader class. Buffer reader br equal to new buffer reader of new file reader of path. Whatever the path I gave, it will load the file from there, and it will directly load it from there. Add try catch. There we are. So we have the try catch. Next is, I'll say while. So the file is reading line by line. I showed this in the last example. In the last video, I showed this, how to read the entire file. So I'll simply say here string s equal to null. I'll say s equal to br.readLine. If this entire function is not equal to null, then keep reading it. So just add the existing catch clause and it will change to IO. Right. So if you are reading it until it reaches null, keep reading it. And every time you read, you get the dialogues and append it directly to the dialogues. Done. So each and every line will be given like this. Okay. So you are getting a string. You are not getting individual dialogues. You're getting a string entirely. So instead of saying str dialogues, we can simply say str JSON. Okay, str JSON. So this is an entire JSON file. There are no distinctions between name, ID or anything. This is just a string format of the entire file. Here, once we get this file, we are going to segregate this based on the class that I provided. It will now decide whether the string is a name or a string is a list. Okay. From here, it will convert into the object. So if everything is working fine, we will see the NPC name and a random dialog if everything works fine. So let's see. Oh, there is an error. JSON syntax exception, malformed exception, terminated array at line 1, column 100, malformed exception. Where is it? Java line 17 here. Okay. I guess I have to print this to see what is actually getting here. Okay, let's see what we get. System out str. Let's print this first. Let's see what we're getting here. Oh, we are getting spaces. Okay, I forgot to remove the spaces. S.trim. Now it's fine. So now it will load, I guess. Still. Okay. Undetermined array at line 1. Undetermined array. What is the error? Undetermined array at line 1, column 92. Column is that? Maybe here. Okay. Is this not the actual format? Let me show you the files that I actually got. So this one is the file which is showing this shopkeeper array Array is working like this. This is a simple array. Okay, let's try only with this. Array should work. Why is it showing error? Malformed. Unterminated array. Unterminated array. Oh, okay. The array is not terminated properly. Where is this? Not this. This. Oh, okay. I forgot to give a comma. That's the problem. See? This is why you need JSON validator. There are some commas and full stops and everything. This is the problem. Now there is no error. See? Just a comma. That's it. Now it's working. So your dialog.json is working. As I said, it should work. This is how JSON reads everything. So now we should see a NPC name. The NPC name is shopkeep, right? This is how the NPC name is here, shopkeep. And as I said, if the code works, the dialog should load randomly. So if I load this, I should see hello adventurer. Next time I should see hello adventurer again. Okay, next time again hello adventurer. Okay, let me just close all this background. Okay, fine. Now hello adventurer. Okay, maybe it is reseeding itself automatically, but we can also load a specific format. For example, get one, and we will see a specific line like this. A nice day to buy something good. Okay, so maybe this is not the right way to load random numbers, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We can load the dialogues, whichever dialogue we want. You can also load 0 or 1, right? If it is 0, you will see hello adventurer, and if it is 1, you will see nice day to buy something good, right? This is how it is. So this is your JSON loading. So JSON to JSON loading. Now if you have a file like this, where is this? Here, this one. If you have a file like this where you have multiple shopkeep, healer, mysterious stranger like this, what to do then? Well, that is the problem. This is where a very interesting format comes up. It's called type token. Okay, I'll explain this concept in the next video. For this is it. So for this video, you can follow this concept, you can follow these steps. The next video will be very interesting. I am going to release the next video in few days because now I have so much time. So I'll release the video in the next few days. Okay, the next video will be on type token and choices. If you have a file with choices, for example, in this case, by the way, I created all of this using ChatGPT. So if there is any problem here, you can rectify this using JSON validator. Okay, just go and use that validator whenever you have time. Try to use the validator as much as possible. That is the right way to use. Okay, so if you have a choices like this, for example, in the shopkeep, so in the previous example I showed you, we have dialogues like this: welcome, get some fine wares, come back anytime, like this. Simple dialogues. For these dialogues we are using list. Where is it? Here, for these are just using list. What if I want to use multiple choices, or maybe I want to load multiple NPCs in this way? Then what? Well, instead of using list, I'll be using type token. Type token is a very interesting way. It is kind of used for generic classes. Generic classes basically means collection classes. As we all know, Java uses collection classes more to execute the program. Most of the Java programs you see, will have array list, hash map, or set, like that, right? So these are collection classes. In those collection classes, some classes have generic types. For example, list, set, and map. These three are the classes that have generic types. They are called generic classes. Let me explain it in a proper way. So if you have learned C language or C++, you know this concept. It's called array, right? It's a collection of objects. It's a collection of values, data, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this, or any other data, like for example 6.7, 2.3, 5.6, like this. This is an array. Now in Java, we don't use the arrays. I mean, we have arrays like this. These are called primitive types, but we also use a different type. We call them generic types. So in Java, we have primitive type. Primitive type basically means int, float, double, char, okay, or string. String is a primitive type because string is a predefined type. It's a predefined format. This is why it's called primitive. The same thing we do here. Okay, this is called primitive type. Java uses this type, but Java also uses a generic type. Generic type basically means list, set, and map. What is the difference between these two? Well, in primitive types, you have a set amount of storage. For example, everybody knows that int takes 4 bytes, or in C language it takes 2 bytes, but in 32-bit operating system it takes 2 bytes. 64-bit operating system it takes 4 bytes. Based on your operating system, it will differ the size. So in 32-bit, that is x86 operating systems, it takes 2 bytes, 2 bits, or sorry, 2 bytes. 2 bytes. Whereas bits are ones and zeros, so 2 bytes. Whereas in x64 operating systems, it takes 4 bytes. Since Java is based on x64, every integer by default takes 4 bytes, and it is already unsigned int, so it's already a 4 bytes concept. Float 4 bytes, double 8 bytes, character 1 byte, string number of characters, right? Whatever number of characters you have, that many bytes it will take. So these are predefined format. They have a predefined size. Every integer, every character, every float has a predefined size in the memory. What is the size of the list? We don't know. What is the size of the set? We don't know. Size of the map? We don't know, because we never have a size for these. These are objects. These are not stored as an array. These are stored as a stack or a heap. That is the difference. These are stored as arrays in the memory, in the RAM. That's why you have bits and bytes. Whereas these are stored as a heap, like a heap of sand, a heap of objects, a heap of clothes, like that. There is no specific size or amount to store in that heap. That you can store any amount, n amount. Okay, that is the reason these are called generic types. Generic types don't have a specific size. They don't have a specific type. Every value in a list is a list value. It doesn't mean string, integer, float. Doesn't mean that. It's a string. It's a list value. If it is defined as a list, it's a list. That's it. What do I mean? Even when you say list string, it is still considered as a list. There is no string in this. It's only just a list. That's all. Even if you say list or map of string comma int or integer, okay, what do you have it? You have a map. There is no string or no integer in this. There is just a map object. What is the type of the value you have? It's a map value. That's it. This is how Java maintains these things. Java doesn't understand generic types. Java only stores them as an object. List object, map object, set object. That's all. Understood? So this is why you need type tokens. Type tokens will use, will store the type of the object that you are passing here. Let's say you want to read a list of strings. You can simply just type a list and it will print the list. That's all. But what if you want to store the list and you want to use it in a different way? Let's say you have stored the values like this and now you want to use it in a JSON format. So in JSON format, you must store the string as a string, integer as an integer. In that case, we use type token because everything is a map. So in that case, there is no string, no integer. That will be a problem. So instead of doing that, we will use a entire type token concept, which will keep the sizes, keep the types of the data, and based on the type of the data, the JSON will create a specific type of data. What do I mean by this? I mean, if you see here, I wrote a code here. Where is that? This one. I wrote a code here. I said this is integer and this is string, right? This is a string, this is an integer. If I want to store it in this way in a JSON, I must say in exactly the same way. If I say it as a list, it will store as a list object. Everything is a string in list object. Everything is a string in list object. So to preserve the type, we have to give a type token for this. The same thing, when you are reading from here, you can also preserve the type of that value into a object by using type token. Gson does it automatically, but we can simply use it in a different way, right? I will explain all of this in a technical. This is more technical side. I'll explain all of this in the next video. Okay. So this is it for now. I hope you understood about this JSON concept and loading the JSON files directly into your concept, into your project. So this is it. Thank you. I hope you learned something new. And if you have any doubts or if you have any comments to make, you can also write them in the comment section. You can also watch my old videos. I have many videos previously. I have made many videos previously. I have explained a lot of things in Java. And if you like these kind of videos, please like and share and comment. And thank you. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.